And welcome back to Live with the Tribe here on ESPN 95.1 The Fan. Also a little delayed here on our YouTube channel as well. We're going to step inside the ICC Spotlight presented by the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi and talk with ICC head softball coach Andy Kirk.
The newly formed Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi wants to make sure you are receiving the best orthopedic care possible. Our staff of 7 experienced, board-certified surgeons specialize in a specific area of the body and can treat you with the newest and latest technology available to fast-track your road to recovery. Call us for same-day appointments at 662-377-BONE and come see us at Gloucester Creek Village in Tupelo. At the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, our specialty is you.
And welcome back to Live with the Tribe as we're joined by Coach Andy Kirk here. Let's call it Studio B, technically in my office. Coach Kirk, first off, thank you for taking time out of your day. I know preseason, always a crazy time of year for you. I appreciate you coming to talk to us.
Yeah, it can be a little hectic right now, but it's fun. It's an exciting time, getting everybody back in the swing of things, coming off the Christmas break and everything.
Well, Coach, this weekend is when you're scheduled to play Jackson State. Of course, this time of year, we always joke, you and I, when we eat lunch together, how we know when baseball, softball, and tennis get here because it gets cold and it starts raining.
That's exactly right. We've had plenty of cold and we've had plenty of rain, so it's here.
Well, all right, let's go ahead and just talk about the preseason, how things are going. Just take us through the process of what it takes to get ready for a season.
Yeah, well, basically, we had a good fall, and then we let them go, and they worked on their own individually, their health and getting stronger and getting their bodies ready during the Christmas break, working out, strength conditioning, and then we get them back in here, and it's 3 weeks for the first game, so you just have to roll with it. So we've really been stressing getting our pitchers' arms ready to go, working on our defense, and then, of course, when we get the cold and the rain, it pushes inside. That's when we really focus on the offense and the fundamentals, getting back to the fundamentals of it.
That's a pretty good little extra thing to have, I guess you can say, with the team is the fact that you've got that indoor facility where you're able to go practice. Of course, you share it with baseball, baseball and tennis, and then cheerleading. Talk about the advantage of having something like that.
It's a huge advantage to us just because as I've always learned in my years living in Mississippi, all but one, that if you don't like the weather in Mississippi, just give it a couple hours, it'll change. So going in there, we have 7,200 square feet of turf, 4 cages that can be half cages, or we can flip them up to where we can go a full long cage where you can go actually live pitchers against hitters. 8 hitting stations, bullpen, so we get it all. We can get defensive work done, hitting done. If we don't go more than 3 days of seeing live pitching, then our pitchers are going against our hitters and letting them see each other. And you can realistically do about everything inside that we do outside.
That's a big advantage, and part of the reason why you got the big honor that you got last week is whenever you came in preseason ranked number 10. I know preseason rankings as a coach that don't mean a lot, but for players, fans, and parents, it's a pretty big honor to come in. Of course, 2018, 17, we had our previous high ranking at number 8 in the preseason poll. Just talk about that ranking, how you come about earning that ranking through the NJCAA, and then also what it means to the team.
Yeah, a lot of the rankings, are on what your previous year your team did and the potential that your team has for this year. That 2017 team, we're coming off of having 2 All-Americans, Alex Brown, Mamie Hollandhead, and then an ace pitcher with Carly Mills coming back, and had won 39 games, and knew we'd added some good players, so they were ranked pretty high. Last year had a phenomenal year, 41 wins, and we get our you have an ace and an ace A, as you would say, because you play 2 games, and game 2 is just as important as game 1. So we got Olivia Burns coming back, who won 19 games for us, and you got your catcher and Sam Conley from New Orleans coming back, and then first base DP Macy Cox. So we have 3 really good returning players that played a lot for us, and then we had a really good recruiting class. So that's the potential that people see. But years past, we've had several teams in our region that got ranked. Last year, we were not preseason ranked. There were 4 teams in our region. This year, there are only 3 teams that got ranked. So it's a big honor to be number 10. Puts a big bullseye on your back, but it is a challenge, and our team is looking forward to it, and they're practicing hard and getting ready.
Not only last year, you talk about not getting that preseason ranking, you earned your highest ever regular season ranking, final ranking as well. So it goes to show, yes, preseason rankings don't matter, but sometimes it fuels a little fire a little bit as well.
It can definitely fuel a little fire, and that was another thing that I'd heard that we're pretty much going to be a lock to be in the top 20 preseason ranking, just because the last 3 years we finished the last ranking of the year ranked 10th, 6th, and 3rd in the nation, and that carries a lot of weight with consistency. Even though, to your school you get a lot of turnover, but the consistency that our program has been there 3 years in a row at the end, so why not give them a bump there to start with?
And that goes back, and you have a really good tie with the former players and alumni that come back in the program. But those are the ones, even back when Coach Case was coaching, those were the ones that laid that foundation to be able to enjoy the success.
That's exactly right, and we remind our players of that all the time. The nice field that we have, the state-of-the-art dugouts with the bathrooms in it, and everything that the nice uniforms, the signing parties we have where you sign posters and do things like that. It's just that we have a great following, and they laid that foundation, and they're not forgotten. As we saw this past fall when we had our first ever alumni game, how many people came back.
Absolutely. Well, just talk about some of your focuses right now as we're closing in on the start of the season. What are some of your focuses to kind of tighten those final bolts before we get things rolling?
First and foremost, make sure everybody's healthy. Of course, during this preseason, as we call the first season, it's kind of a preseason, even though these games count, but getting ready for that Matt Jack season is that we got to make sure we're not getting anybody out there, get them hurt, and give them all a shot. They've been fighting for it. We kind of know who our main ones are going to be, but it's time to, give everybody a shot. Let's see what they do, because injuries do happen. Different things can happen, so we want to make sure that we're getting everybody ready physically to get out there and compete against Jackson State.
Well, Andy, we're coming up on a break here shortly, so real quick, do you got time to stick around a bit longer for me?
I do.
All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to come back with more of Live with the Tribe right after this on ESPN 95.1 The Fan.
When I was looking for a college back in the day, I'm from Amory, Mississippi, just 30 minutes down the road, and I'm a homebody, and I had to commute, and I said, I need to go to a college that's not too far from home. And I heard of ICC. And once I stepped on campus, I knew this is the junior college I need to be at. I didn't think of another college. I said, this is it. When I stepped on campus, the atmosphere, it just was drawn to me, and I felt like this is where I belong. I belong here at Itawamba Community College, because at that moment, I knew this is the best junior college on the planet. This is where I need to be. This is where I was planted, and that's why I am what I am today, because of Itawamba Community College.
This broadcast of ICC Athletics is being brought to you by Renaissance Bank, Little Caesars, Davis Ford, the Sonic of Fulton, Tupelo Coca-Cola Bottling Works, the Orthopedic Institute of North Mississippi, First American National Bank, the ICC BSU, your Itawamba County Farm Bureau agent, Joey Cox, Cagle Eye Center, the ICC Foundation, the Bank of Okolona, and the ICC Alumni Association.
And welcome back to Live with the Tribe here on ESPN 95.1 The Fan. We do want to remind you that every day after Live with the Tribe, you can go back and watch an abbreviated version of the replay on our YouTube channels. Those will usually be posted right around 3 o'clock. So we're talking with ICC softball coach Andy Kirk and Coach Kirk. We just talked about the preseason. These first few games, you talked about it, kind of like the preseason games as well. It's where you see, you evaluate in game, because a lot of times practice don't tell the story. There's just some kids that the lights turn on, a switch flips in their head, and it's a different kid that you see at practice. Just talk about the evaluation process. And as you said, you got 2 games. Once you get in division play, that's important to play. As coaches, what's your evaluation process, and how do you put those in those real, situations to see how they can perform?
Yeah, you always want to try to prepare your team for anything that could come up, any type of situation that might arise, and sometimes you might even have to correct some of that stuff as far as some games we know we're hoping during this early stage season that we're ahead in some games, behind some games. We get to use all of our pitchers, and pinch runners, and then what if, you got to prepare of you get in the middle of the heart of that MACJAC season and you have a big injury to one of your main players. Are you prepared to put people in that position where they're going to be successful? Because as a coach, that is your main goal, is trying to put kids in positions where they don't succeed. I've been in situations where I had to put kids in just an emergency situation and throw them out there and pray and hope that they survive, and you always just appreciate their effort and that they give you all they got. But that's what we're kind of doing. We're just moving people around. Even some infielders have been working in outfield, and we had some kids yesterday working at a position that they haven't worked at all year, just to have a little bit of a background.
All right, well, let's real quick look at some of the first games for February. Of course, we're scheduled to start Saturday at Jackson State, come back that next Saturday against Jackson State. Kind of a unique situation when you play those guys back-to-back. Talk about the scouting process at the early part of the season. You don't know. So you just basically get out there and hope for the best and kind of go off what you know about your players.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Here early in the year, against we play mostly Division I junior colleges out of Alabama and Tennessee, and you just kind of go off. You know the players from last year, and maybe you've seen some of their freshmen out on the recruiting trail at some of the travel ball tournaments we go to and we're at almost every weekend in the summer. But it is basically you take care of your business, and with my background and where I went to school at, and I learned from one of the greatest, Coach Ashley Ingemar, that's you take care of your business and the opponent's got to adjust to you. So that's what we kind of do. We don't want to beat ourselves. And if somebody shows up that day and they just play better than us, then we take our hats off to them and we'll try to get after them the next week. But it is kind of unique playing Jackson State. And the good thing is, even though they're only a couple hours away, they do get a little bit different weather than we do. So there might be a situation where we have to flip-flop and play at home first and go there. But we definitely going to try to get those games in any way we can, because you start pushing them back. And you look after that second time we play them on a Saturday, February 9th. We play Monday, Wednesday, Saturday that next week. So it is a busy time, so we don't want to get pushed back into that week. But we got to get as many games, as many bats for our hitters, and as many innings for our pitchers before we get to that first MACJAC game.
Another thing I noticed about your schedule, you go to Bevel, to Marion, you play Walter State at Snead State, then go to Snead State, then play Wallace State, and then at Calhoun. Yes. So one thing you're doing is you're taking these opportunities to teach these new players, these freshmen, what life on the road in JUCO life is all about.
And it is it's a grind. We'll be road warriors there for a little while, and it seems like every year I think we do this interview that we say that, but that's just kind of the beast it is. But we have several road trips. We got seven. We play 7 of our division opponents at home and 7 on the road. But we have to learn even how to do overnight trips going to Southwest and going to Colin this year. We'll be on the western side of the bottom of the state there. But you've got to learn how to travel. We talk to them all the time how we're not just going to load up here and go 20 minutes down the road and play at Tupelo. We do go to play at Northeast this year. They're 50 minutes away. Everybody else on our schedule is 2 hours plus. So you got to be prepared to load up, travel, get off the bus, make sure we got some energy, we got some food in our stomachs. We're ready to play for 4 hours basically, get back on the bus, find something to eat for supper, and then travel 2+ hours back home. So it is a grind. Not just the games, but the travel part and getting your academics, because then you got to be at class at 8 o'clock the next morning.
Well, that's a good point, and let's kind of expand on that point, because this may be something a lot of people don't think about. You said learn how to travel, and that goes from not just playing on the road, but that goes from waking up in the morning on time, getting to your classes, getting breakfast, and then going through making sure you got everything that take us. What do you mean by when you say learn to travel?
Yeah, learn to travel. Yes, definitely getting up, and they got to get some fuel in their body, so they got to eat breakfast. Going to go to as many classes as we can. We'll stay in class as long as we can to push it to only be there hour and a half, hour 45 minutes before game time. So as soon as they get out, we're either going to have lunch for them on the bus, and during that time, it's not just eat lunch and just lay down and relax. They probably need to be doing some kind of academics, because we know once we get to the field, it's game time. So you're going to go through hour and a half of preparation. You're hitting, you're throwing, you're ready for that first pitch, and you got to stay focused. The hardest thing with junior college softball too is, like I said before, game 2 is as important as game 1. So you've got to play game 1, and you got to take that 20-minute break, and it's not just lollygag time. It's time to refocus, and you got to go get game 2. And as soon as it's over with, you take care of your bodies. You got to make sure we ice, we stretch, and then we're ready to get back on the bus, and you got to ride. And a lot of them are tired, and if they put off the studying, they got to do the studying then. And some of them want to sleep, but then you've got to get your academics. And we have a very mature bunch most of the time that they're going to help each other. They're going to tutor each other on the bus. They're going to sit with each other because they all have the same classes at some point. And then you get back and you got to unwind and get some rest and be ready to turn around and do it the next day.
Yeah, because there's really, in this league, no rest for the weary when it comes to competition, and even on the road as well. We got just a few more minutes before we have to take another break, but kind of just talk about that, the importance that goes, or touch on it, we'll carry on the conversation afterwards, but the importance of academic success that carries over onto the field.
Yes, academics is very important to us. Our number one goal for every one of our players, even with all the success we've had off the field with rankings and winning championships and different things, is every one of our players graduates. We want them all to graduate, get their associate arts degree, and then it can take them anywhere. That's what we sell to them all the time for general students and for athletes. Come to ICC and you can go anywhere. I've had the fortune recently to listen to Dr. Keenum from Mississippi State, and that's exactly what he's bragging on our students. And we hear it from Ole Miss and from medical schools and physical therapy schools how, not just athletes, and we've had success. We've had a lot of our softball players get into some high programs just because they learn that discipline and they focus and they get those A's in those tough classes.
Absolutely. When we come back with Live with the Tribe, we'll talk with Coach Kirk and continue our conversation about the upcoming softball season, and then just a few more things that go along with the challenges of being a student athlete in college as well. So we'll take another break and come back with Live with the Tribe right after this on ESPN 95.1 The Fan and our replay on YouTube.
So my name's Lakin Jones. I went here in August of 2015. I just recently graduated in May of 2017. While I was here, I was studying pre-occupational therapy, but I eventually changed to communication. The application process to Itawamba was great. I mean, they told me everything I needed and what I needed to do, and if I was ever confused, I knew the admissions office or student affairs was just one call away. So coming to ICC, just transferring to where I am now, which is Mississippi State, I was able to apply for so many more scholarships, and a university became affordable, which as before it would have never been something that I could have done. Being a transfer student, and if you are in Phi Theta Kappa, which is our honor society, you are guaranteed for several thousand more dollars of scholarships than if you just went straight to a university. But through building my resume and making connections and really falling in love with MSU and committing to going there, they actually offered me a full tuition scholarship. Hardly anyone knows who they are or what they want to do with their life at 18, 19, or even 20 years old. And so when I went to ICC, I had a little bit more attention and a little bit more time to find myself and to learn what I liked and what I don't like and what I'm good at and what I'm not really good at. So with that, I really learned who I was and my dreams.
And welcome back one final time here with Live for the Tribe on ESPN 95.1 The Fan. We're talking with ICC softball coach Andy Kirk about the upcoming season as well. And Coach Kirk, when we went to the break, we were talking about the challenges of being a student athlete. And there's a lot of people that, it's a big debate. Should student athletes get paid? We're not going to go into that. But life as a student athlete is a lot more difficult than people really think. And, of course, you being the softball coach, talk about your point of view of life as a student athlete from the softball perspective.
Yes, well, we recently actually had a prospect camp here on campus, and anytime we have recruits come in or we have camps, I always ask the freshmen, what's the biggest challenge you've had this year? And number one, they always talk about is time management. They have from high school to college is how do I manage my time, because they have to go to class, they have to go to practice, they want to have a social life, and we want that. That's all about being well-rounded, and they have to manage that time. So it's very difficult for them to manage the study time because we have some great high schools that our kids come from, but some of them, just, they ace through some of the classes. They don't have to study a lot. But here at ICC, we have the same accreditation as any university around us, and our classes transfer and our kids learn it, and they learn that they have to study to get the grades that they want. So time management's a big key for them.
That goes back to a few years ago whenever I was in college, and that's one thing I struggled with, and nobody really explained that to me is, in high school you do have that set format where you're in school. For me, it was from 8:15 to 3 o'clock, and then have basketball practice after school. So I was in that routine, and then whenever I went to Mississippi State, I had an 8 o'clock class that I went to occasionally, and then I didn't have a class till 11. So it was really easy for me to go back to my dorm, and go to sleep, and then next thing I know, it's 2 in the afternoon.
That's right.
So just the time management part of it, just not for even student athletes, for students as a whole, is very important.
It is. It's very important, and that's what we, this time of year, it is cold. It's been rainy. When we get a chance to get outside on the field, and Coach Carter's the same way with baseball, we're going to stay out there as long as we can until we got to get them to supper. And we try to explain to the kids that if you can give us more time out here, when we can get on the field and actually get a lot of live stuff done, then when we do go inside and we share it with our baseball team, and Coach Carter and I work great together, that they're going to have a little bit more downtime on those days. Probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, then maybe run into a 30-minute weightlifting, and then you got more time to go take care of this project or this. But always we preach to our kids thinking ahead. If you got a project coming up, don't put it off, don't procrastinate. Go ahead and knock it out of the way, get it off your mind, because uh-ohs happen, especially in our sport. That Thursday game can get moved to Wednesday, or can get moved up to a Tuesday real quick, and so you better always be preparing ahead. And that's something that they learn. And I think in my years hearing back from former players, and you talk about we have a great following, and I get to hear from several of them of how much they appreciate of learning that discipline, how it's helped them to move on to the four-year school and be successful, and then move on into life. And that's what we're all about, in any athletics, or just the general students that we work with, is just teaching them life skills to be successful in life.
And that's really that's what sports do. A lot of people, funding gets cut. People don't really think there's a whole lot, but sports opens an avenue for kids that may not think they can go to college, may not be able to move forward in that, and it really does provide opportunities for kids to be able to grow as adults.
And we try to, and not just the athletes, we try to take as many managers as we can, as many support staff that just want to help, concessions, press box, anywhere to be around the program. We want everybody that we can have just to be a part, so they can learn those skills, and funding does get cut. We do a lot of fundraising, and man, let me tell you, that's a blessing, the followers we have that do help us to help fund the program.
It's a great segue into my next point I was going to bring up, Coach. I was going to give you the opportunity to reach out to those people, say some thank yous. I know you don't want to go into names because you're like me, you'll forget somebody.
No doubt.
But, how can people be a part of the ICC softball experience, or the ICC family? Of course, you guys have an amazing following whenever it comes to social media, our live streams, and things like that. But if somebody does want to maybe, be a part of the program, donate to you guys, or maybe, help you out in any way, how can they go about doing that, or how can they keep up with ICC softball?
Yeah, the easiest way, we have an RBI club. It goes through our Indian club here on campus, and they can contact myself, my assistants, Coach Haley Thompson, Coach Daniel Rowland, Coach Kerry Simmons, and we can get them, if they will make a financial donation or a donation of their time. We're always looking, like I said, even if they're not students, just general people in public that want to come out. And we have a lot of people that don't have a granddaughter or don't have a stake in our team who show up at every game. We have some that show up at practice just because of the way our kids carry themselves, the way they do their business, and we appreciate every dime, every effort anybody makes, time or money and stuff. And and of course they can follow us on Let's Go ICC. You guys do a wonderful job. We have our ICC softball Twitter and Facebook pages, and I know we put something out there the day after our camp, and within 24 hours I was showing my two younger assistants how that we had over 3,000 likes on there, or views on there, of how many people actually keep up with stuff. And it's amazing to me to see the following that we do have. Absolutely.
Of course, we do want to encourage everybody to come out and support you guys. You can see the schedule on letsgoicc.com, the schedule page there for softball. Really cool thing is it's free. So I mean, you really unless it's cold, and then you can bundle up. But unless it's cold, you really have no excuse not to come watch softball.
That's exactly right. And with our new big dugouts and the way it's kind of set up, you can actually even hide and get away from the wind. And like the days when we have sun, you can get over there and stay out of the wind and stay pretty warm. And a lot of people like to snuggle up, and it blocks off of them. But well, you know, it's a great place to watch a game. And I can always tell you, you're going to be entertained. Our bunch is going to entertain you, and they're going to get after it, and they're going to play fast, and it's not a lot of downtime in our games, so it's fun to watch for sure.
Any final thoughts before we close out on the day?
Just like a few thank yous, especially my wife, our team mom, Dana. She takes care of us, and it's hard being a coach's wife or a coach's spouse. My 3 assistants, they're doing a tremendous job. They're letting me venture out this year and do some more things at the college that I've been asked to do, and they're excited about leadership stuff type things. And you know, your staff does wonderful. Our kids love you. Our kids just love all the attention they get, as any kid does.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And they are much deserving of it. And I tell them that all the time, and they need to be appreciative of it. And our team and our former players, just all the blood, sweat, and tears that they give us on a daily effort, and how much they know what they're playing for is greater than just this team and what that scoreboard says.
Well, Andy, I appreciate you taking time to talk to us, my man. I know big week, getting ready for the first opener, be coming up Saturday, February 2nd, either at Jackson State, could be here, pending the weather.
Yeah.
You want to be sure and follow Let's Go ICC on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, to be able to keep up with that as well. Coach, I know you need to get out of here and get ready for practice, so I appreciate you talking to us, and hey, we'll do it again sometime soon.
Sounds great. Look forward to it. Thank you.
We'll be back to close things up with Live for the Tribe right after this.